Good morning, children. Welcome to your chemistry online class. Last class we have discussed about hydrides. Hydrides are the compounds which form ionic bonds with hydrogen and metals at a high temperature, creating a compound called hydride. For example, if E is the symbol of an element, then hydride can be expressed as EHX, that is, E is element, HX is our hydride. For example, magnesium hydride or EMHN, that is B2H6. Instead of M and N, if we give another value, so you'll get hydrides. And we already said hydrides can be classified into ionic or saline, that is salt-like, covalent or molecular, metallic or non-stoichiometric hydrides. We will see one by one. Actually, if we take a periodic table, almost all elements can able to form hydride compounds. Here you can see the red purple color representing covalent hydrides, metallic hydrides, and intermediate hydride, ionic hydride, and hydride cap. This is the hydride cap. So nearly all elements can make hydrides. So we see with ionic or salt-like hydrides. So these are stoichiometric compounds of dihydrogen, which forms with the most of the S block elements, that is alkali metals with alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. And because they are highly electropositive in nature. We know that both alkali metals and alkaline earth metals are highly electropositive in nature. Hence, they can form ionic bond with hydrogen, dihydrogen. And we know the anomalous properties of some S block elements such as lithium, beryllium, magnesium due to which property? The We have already studied this. The first element in the first group resembles the properties of the second element in the periodic table. That is which property? There are, you can see such properties. Lithium resembles the properties of beryllium. Magnesium is resembles the properties with other elements and all. So hence we know the lithium, beryllium, magnesium, that every first element in the periodic table in a group will have different properties compared to the other elements, such as lithium is different from other alkali metals, beryllium is different from other alkaline earth metals such as ilgosol. So such compounds are in covalent nature, but if we take other alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, that is S block elements, they all form ionic hydrates. The ionic hydrates is similar as ionic compounds, that is they are crystalline nature, non-volatile and non-conducting in solid state. But when it dissolves in water, which conduct electricity, or which melts, it conduct electricity. For example, we know sodium chloride. That is, I'm telling about ionic compound. We know ionic compound sodium chloride is conduct electricity in the molten stage. So if we do the electrolysis on the compound, it will liberate dihydrogen gas at anode, which confirms the existence of H minus ion. We already said that H hydrogen will exist only in H plus ion. Instead of it is reacting with the alkali metal. So in this case, we can say that the existence of H minus ion is there because we know in anode negative ions will accumulate on anode. Negative charged elements will occur in anode. So it is confirming the existence of H minus ion. And if you take the saline hydrates, it will react violently with water producing dihydrogen gas. For example, if you take sodium hydroxide, react with water, we know if you put a sodium or sodium hydride on a water, which will react vigorously and produce dihydrogen and a base. This is the reaction. The next one is covalent or molecular hydrate. The dihydrogen forms molecular compounds with most of the p block elements. That was ionic is with s block, covalent or molecular hydrate with the p block elements. For example, CH4, methane, ammonia, water, hydrogen fluoride. These all are hydrates. Hydrogen compounds of known metals have also been considered as hydrates, being covalent. They are covalent and volatile in nature. And again, molecular hydrates can be further classified into electron deficient, electron precise, and electron rich hydrates. We'll see each one. The electron deficient hydride has few. If we take electron deficient means there is deficiency of electrons. So has few electrons for Lewis structure, which is having elements of group 13 forms this compound. Which are the elements in group 13? What are the elements in group 13? Boron. It is boron family. Like for example, diborane. It's a hydrate of boron. And these act as Lewis acid, that is electron acceptor, that we have already studied what is Lewis acceptor, Lewis base, Lewis acid and all. Lewis acids are the substance which accept electrons. The next one is electron precise hydrides. So electron deficient, there is a deficiency of electrons in Lewis structure. For example, electron precise hydrates have the required number of electrons for Lewis structure. It is it is not deficient or more equal. And elements of group 14 forms the compound. For example, carbon family. For example, methane. And electron rich hydrates have excess electrons which are present as lone pair. If you take the Lewis structure, there is excess electrons in the structure, then we can call it as electron rich hydrates. Electrons of group 15 and 17 form such compounds, that is nitrogen family and halogens. For example, ammonia having 11 lone pair, H2 has 2 lone pairs of electrons. They act as Lewis bases because they have already a lot of electrons, so they can donate electrons. Electron rich compound can donate electrons, so it is a Lewis base, it is a electron donor. Move to next model. Next type, metallic hydrates. Metallic hydrates are formed by D block and F block elements. For example, the metals of group 7, 8, the metals of group 7, 8 and 9 do not form hydride. And they conduct heat and electricity. If the parent metals doesn't have the ability, even though the hydrates can conduct heat and electricity. Unlike saline hydrates, they are almost non-stoichiometric. Here you can see the ratio will be in the fraction values 2.87, 2.55. If it is a stoichiometric compound, the ratio will be all numbers, but here it is not happening. Then law of constant composition does not hold good. That is, according to law of constant composition, the ratio between the compounds will be a whole number, but it is not happening here. And the next one is the property of the absorption of hydrogen or transition metal is widely used in catalytic reduction or hydrogenation reactions for the preparation of large number of compounds. These hydrides we can use in the many reactions such as reduction, hydrogenation and all. It helps to form a lot of compounds. So metallic hydrides can use. And some of the metals can accommodate a very large volume of hydrogen can be used as its storage. So for the storage of hydrogen, we are using this method because we will convert it with a metal hydride and we'll use and we'll store hydrogen. Then we'll move to a very important hydrogen compound called water. We know water is very important to our daily life. Without water, we cannot exist. So the entire world existing because of water. So a major part of all living organisms is made up of water, and our body itself is 65% is water, and some of the plants having 95% is water. So it is a very crucial compound for the survival of all life in the universe, and it is a universal solvent. In lots of reaction we are using water as a solvent. So this is a very important compound. These are the use of water. We know for what all things we are using water. For agriculture, for preparing electricity in the centers, and in various uses, washing and all, bathing, cleaning. A lot of processes are there. So we cannot imagine a single day without water. And we'll see what are the physical properties of water. We know it is a colorless and tasteless liquid. And the unusual properties of water in the condensed phase are due to the presence of exchanges of hydrogen bonding between water molecules. If we take hydrogen, if we take hydrogen, if we take water, it contains hydrogen bond. So it will show some unusual properties. And it is high specific heat capacity, thermal conductivity, surface tension, dipole moment, dielectric constant when compared to other liquids. Hence, we are using it as an universal solvent. It is an excellent solvent for transportation of ions. Molecule requires for plant animal metabolism. And due to hydrogen bonding with polar molecules, even covalent compounds like alcohol and carbohydrate dissolves in water. Due to intermolecular hydrogen bond, other organic solvents also dissolve in water. We'll see structure of water. We know the chemical formula of water is H2O. It is H2O. So H2O, two hydrogens and one oxygen. The gas phase of water is a bent molecule. It's having the structure bent molecule. The bond angle is 104.5 degree. The bond angle is 104.5 degree. And the OH bond length is 95.7 picometer. And it's a highly polar molecule because hydrogen and oxygen having a very large electronegativity difference between them. Hence, it is highly highly polar in nature. And in the liquid phase, water molecules are associated together by hydrogen bonds. In the liquid state, we can clearly see the hydrogen bond between the molecules.